Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Dr. Mitchell by Raylin Marks, narrated by Sarah Puckett and Aiden Snow. Chapter 1. Ash. I'd zoned out so hard on my term paper that I hardly heard the barista calling out my name. I popped up from my seat and weaved through the crowd of people that had swarmed the coffee shop. "Any position?" the barista announced again. I was feeling pretty amused with myself for my fake name choice, until all of the city showed up and heard it. "Matcha frappuccino," she said, as I stepped up to get my drink. "Right here," I said, cheeks hot with the attention my lame-ass idea caused. "Cute," she said with a wink. "Ha!" was all I could manage. I turned to get the hell out of the mob, and the next thing I knew, my stupid alias was no longer the attention grabber. "Shit," I said as my frappuccino crashed directly into the center of a white button-down shirt. "Fuck," the guy growled, his arms out and eyes roaming over the green stain, slowly oozing in a frozen blob down his shirt. "Damn it. I am so sorry," I said, not knowing the first way to redeem myself for spinning around too fast to pay attention to the couple standing behind me. His eyes met mine after I made some super effort to throw the offensive drink in the trash and grab napkins. I instinctively threw a pile on the ground and took the other handful to wipe what was left on his shirt. His hand covered mine, and his blue eyes sparkled as the sun would over a tropical sea. Holy fuck, I thought, trying to keep at bay the rapidly approaching third embarrassing thing that could happen in 5 seconds. This guy was the sexiest man I'd ever laid eyes on, Hollywood hunks included. "I've got it," he said, his lips turning up into an irresistible grin. "Good God!" a female's voice screeched with annoyance. "Go!" She waved me off, reminding me I'd caused enough damage already. I eyed her. "Let me at least do something," I said, her green eyes narrowing while her mauve lips pursed in annoyance. She folded her arms. "Do something?" she questioned me with an arch of her perfectly shaped eyebrow. "Maybe you would like to lick your silly drink off his chest." "Go order her another one," the guy I'd assaulted with my drink said in a half-humored, half-demanding tone to the woman. "You don't have to boss your girl around over my dumbass mistake." "She's not my girl," he said, glaring at the woman before he leveled me with a darker stare. "What's the choice of beverage that I have the luxury of adding to my wardrobe colors today?" "What the fuck?" "What's the drink?" the bitch seethed. Who the hell were these two? The power suit couple? They were dressed and looked the part of 2 wealthy people who came to San Francisco to take over the place. "Matcha frap?" I said, trying to let this shit show move forward so we could stop the back and forth, and I could hide behind my computer, waiting for them to call my real name this time. "Name?" she asked, folding her arms and rightfully annoyed. Right, it's any position," the man said in the same demanding tone he'd used for his gal pal. "Isn't that what they called before you painted my suit green?" "Annie." I smiled, cheeks flushed, knowing my face was beet red. "Nice name," he answered, blotting the stained shirt. "Are you naturally nice to strangers who ruin your wardrobe and an asshole to your friends?" I asked, thumb pointing to where the blonde with mauve lips stood in line with eyes of fire directed toward me. "I'm feeling rather compassionate for someone who appears to be having a rough day." I felt my breath hitch, and my heart reacted to his turquoise blue eyes. "Nice of you to assume that." I half smiled. "And the reason your friend is stuck with my problem?" "Long story," he smiled. "She'll get over it, trust me." Wow. Well, I am sorry about this. I sighed. "I'll just go wait over there." I pointed toward my laptop. "I have 5 minutes at most to turn in my essay now." All the more reason that my friend," his eyes shifted toward the woman and back to me, "is ordering for you." "Yeah," I said. "Thanks again." The guy was too gorgeous for words, and there was no way in hell I was looking back at him or up from my computer to catch another angle of the black-haired god who'd given a facelift of beauty to the coffee shop when he walked through the door. I hit send on my essay with 1 minute to spare and waited to hear the swoosh sound on my email before I could collapse back into the booth seat and let my nerves crash after everything that had happened. By the time I gathered myself, my dumbass attempt to be funny name was called again, and the couple was nowhere in sight. Thank God. The coffee shop was still busy, but I was on my way out anyway. I needed to get back to my hotel room and wind down. I was supposed to go out with some old high school friends who lived in the area tonight, and at this point, I could use a drink. Or 10. Or 20. Or not. Tomorrow was my cousin's wedding day, and I probably shouldn't be hungover while having to sit through the superficial ceremony I'd been forced to attend on mine and Dad's behalf. Dad owed me for this. Big time. I pulled up the back strap of my heels on my left foot, hobbling on the right foot in the new stilettos I knew I'd hate by the end of this weekend. I'd bought them to match the burgundy dress I was to wear to the wedding, and I'd decided to break them in tonight. Something told me comfort wasn't part of the expensive shoes that I shouldn't have let the sales associate talk me into purchasing. One last glance at my strapless bandage dress, and I was good to go. I tried pulling my natural waves up, but it wasn't working. Screw it. It's not like I'm out to meet guys tonight. I laughed at the idea. Let's get part 1 of my trip to Frisco out of the way. Hanging at a rooftop club with friends I hadn't seen since high school. The Uber dropped me off at a super fancy hotel that was well lit and immediately oozed wealth and power out of the front doors. Flags from across the world hung over the entrance, while the luxury cars that lined up made my compact Uber selection appear to be dropping me off at the wrong place. "What the hell?" I whispered. "You might meet a famous person," the Uber driver informed me. "Good Lord," I answered as I exited the car. I waved my way through the cars and people entering at the same time as me. I was surrounded by luxury and needed to find my friends fast. "Ashley Taylor," I said to the concierge as Beth had instructed me to do when I got here. "Miss Taylor," he shifted through papers. "Will you be staying with us tonight?" "I'm here to meet friends at a rooftop lounge," I said softly. He reached for a pen to scroll along a screen installed in front of him. "I see," he answered. "Richard," he waved someone over to him. "Please escort Miss Taylor to her party on the top." By the time the doors admitted me through secret elevators and I'd arrived at the rooftop bar, I was somewhat grateful I had on expensive heels at the very least. The atmosphere was euphoric, but it was definitely for the wealthier patrons. I followed Richard to the outdoor area where I heard my name called and finally let out the breath I seemed to have held since following Richard to the elevator. "Hey," I said, eyeing the 3 friends I hadn't seen since graduation night. "Ashley Taylor," Gabby laughed and hugged me. "You look awesome." "Thanks. You all look great too." I smiled at my girlfriends and the men with them. "It's been too long." "6 years," Beth said. "Here, let's get the introductions out of the way." She pointed to the tall, prematurely balding man next to her. "This is my husband, Max." She smiled with pride before looking on. "Go, Gab." Gabby threw her blonde ponytail back. "This is John." She smiled at the blonde man who was standing stiffly and uncomfortably at her side. "He and I hooked up about a month ago." She ran her hand down his polo shirt. "He's not into the night scenes." She giggled. "I'm with you on that." I tried to smile to help the poor guy loosen up some. "I think I'm going to need a drink to process this venue." "That's on me," Liz said. It's been so damn long, babe. She hugged me and kissed both of my cheeks. What the hell happened to shy, sweet, valedictorian Liz? That's quite a greeting, I laughed as I ordered a cosmopolitan. Where's your guy? I teased. The girls laughed while Max and John fell into a conversation, leaving the girls to chat while they returned to their drinks. Divorced, she shrugged. Being a doctor sucks. Well, obviously it's good money. I waved my hand around the stunning lights of the city and the vast view of luxury from the rooftop. Well, it is. She sipped her martini. But, truth be told, I'm still paying off student loans and probably will be until I die. I sipped the drink that was placed in front of me at the high table where we stood. Why in the hell would you reserve a place like this if you're paying off debt? It was one of the perks of the medical conference I had to attend today, she said with a strange grin. Then her face straightened. I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry. These were not the same girls I remembered from high school. Maybe this is why I've heard so many stories about 10-year reunions sucking. Everyone is different, but trying not to be. My friends from school were giggly, awkward, and, well, not what I expected. Maybe I was the weird one. Yes, I answered her, gulping down half of my Cosmo. We thought her remission would last a lot longer than it did, but we lost her 2 years ago. Dang, Beth said uncomfortably. Is your dad okay? Are you okay? You don't have a man with you, so are you single? Why are you up in Frisco? Okay, I started drinking too late. I smiled. Cousin's wedding. Dad made me show up here on his behalf. They helped us out financially while Mom was sick, and the bills were burying my parents. I have no idea who these people are, but I guess the wedding is a big ordeal, and they insisted we come. Ugh, annoying. Gabby sighed and reached out to me. Not what they did, but having to be around people you don't know like that, right? Nothing compared to what I'm experiencing at the moment. Either they had started drinking too early or I was standing around 3 strangers who I probably would have never been friends with if I didn't grow up with them. It's fine. I motioned for another drink, noticing I'd absently gulped down the first. Well, what have you been up to? Liz asked. I'm ready to fuck our keynote speaker from the conference today, she said, my eyes widening at her abrupt words. Well, I had to drop out of City College and put it all on hold, I answered. I needed to take care of my mom, and ever since she died, I've been sort of getting by while deciding my next move. Girl, you have to do you, Gabby stated, pointing at me. I am. I sipped my drink. I'd apparently lost the interest of my friends after informing them about my boring life plans. The conversation shifted, not to what we'd all really been up to, but to orgasms, broken relationships, and any male specimen who passed our table, as if Max and whatever the other guy's name was weren't there with us. Thank God for the shift in our environment. The music grew louder and changed as the sun started to set, and now my obviously drunk friends were flinging themselves onto the dance floor. Stuck with their significant others, I bowed out as nicely as I could, but I wasn't leaving these views just yet. I walked away from the crowd and found a slice of heaven on the rooftop that gave me the most stunning view. I stared at the millions of twinkling lights that illuminated the city and tried to burn this image into my mind. I'd seen cityscapes painted and photographed, but feeling it while experiencing the sight itself was something I'd never captured, no matter how many canvases I'd painted. I had to find a way to breathe life into a painting that would help people sense what I was sensing by looking at this magic. So, a smooth voice said to my right, I feel we might have met before. I looked over, and my drink sloshed in my hand when my left ankle weakened, and I almost fell off to the side after seeing the dream guy I spilled my drink on at the coffee shop earlier. "Yeah," I said as he caught my fall by reaching for my arm. He glanced down at the Cosmopolitan I held. "I can safely say that if you spilled that particular drink on me, that I'm not one who looks good in pink." I smirked. You would look good in anything. Or nothing." "No?" His eyes roamed over my face. "Yes," I answered, stunned and too buzzed to hold a conversation with Mr. Gorgeous. His lips twisted. "What brings you here tonight?" I looked at him in confusion. "Friends, and you?" "Work." He smiled. "Did you handle your assignment from earlier?" Why the hell is this guy even talking to me? "I did. Thanks for asking and actually remembering." "How could I forget? The moment I saw you tonight, all I could think was that this is the girl known as Any Position." "You're here on business, Mr. I narrowed my eyes at him. His turquoise ones glistened. "I am." "And I'm guessing you're most likely here with me, bringing up that stupid name, because you're looking to have a little fun on your trip?" "Perhaps." My body went into electric spasms at the thought. His fucking hot looks. And that I would even suggest this to him. Hell no. I wasn't going to be some homewrecker because I came out to meet friends, which was a total fail, at a damn bar. I wasn't that drunk. Or maybe I was. The hell if I knew. "Yeah," I smiled. "Sorry, I can't help with that." "A shame." His voice was low, and I was starting to become hypnotically charmed by this man. "I was looking for the only person not drunk to enjoy this amazing view with." I smiled at him to hold my exterior confidence. Good Lord, he was gorgeous. The dark shadow on his jaw worked to carve out the faultlessness of his chiseled face. His coal black hair, a tasseled mess of perfection, set off his eyes that seemed to bore straight into my soul as he stared into mine. I glanced at the man who was leaning against the ledge, body twisted to face me, gave me all I needed to know about how I sort of wished he was asking me to spend the night with him. His dark-ribbed sweater hugged his chest and muscular arms, waking up all the dormant female parts of my body. "Yes," I sighed, gathering my thoughts and wishing I had some water to hydrate and shake this alcohol out of my head. "The views are stunning," he said, bringing his attention out to the city. "May I ask why you're over here and not enjoying the company of the women I saw you with earlier?" "Spying on me, eh?" I teased. He licked his lips, and then they parted into a sexy smile that revealed perfect white teeth. "If you call taking notice of a beautiful woman in this toxic atmosphere of after-hours fun spying, then I guess I'm a spy." "Toxic atmosphere?" I laughed. "Who the hell are you anyway?" He sipped what I assumed was his glass of scotch. "A man who positively does not want to be here this weekend." He glanced around the ritzy rooftop. "And not even the slightest bit tempted to appreciate the bullshit conference I was forced to attend today, even with the perks that come with it." I leaned up against the ledge, letting the crisp air continue to clear my thoughts with my mystery dream guy. "I guess that means you had to go to the medical conference, or whatever in the hell my friend Liz called it, too? Too bad you're not a chick, because all I've heard about tonight was how the keynote speaker made a week's worth of conferences manageable." He chuckled. "Is that so? I found the jackass to be dull and ridiculously boring." "So you're a doctor then, eh?" He eyed me, his brows pulling in as those damn snake-charming eyes roamed over my face. "I'm reconsidering my love for that particular profession after today." "What the hell?" "I'm fucking with you." He laughed and motioned for a waiter. "Can we get—" He looked at me. "What are you having? It's on the medical group that's hosting this shindig." "Water," I stated. "Shindig?" Water? The corners of his eyes crinkled in humor. Trust me, the group that puts this ordeal on can afford it. I'm not being modest. I smiled at the waiter. I'll have water, please. Water for the lovely lady, and I'll have another scotch. The waiter bowed out and left Mr. Gorgeous and me back to whatever in the hell we were talking about. So, am I going to get a name other than Annie? Why don't we just keep it at Annie? I said with a smile. Let's face it, we're complete strangers, and I don't think this is going any further than us both complaining about being up here. All right, no names then, he said, studying me. But what if it went further than us complaining about this pretentious party that we're at? Okay, he's not here for the chit-chat. Why the hell would I think he was? He was gorgeous and an asshole doctor who was most likely doing what my friends were doing, sizing up the place for someone to screw. I was clear-headed enough now to know this was all superficial on my part, too. Wanting a piece of this guy because of his looks alone. Yeah, going to have to pass on that. I smiled and gulped my water. And she shatters my self-esteem. He mockingly covered his heart. I'm sure you can get plenty of girls up here who would take you up on that offer. I'm not interested in any of the women up here. As I mentioned, I am merely out here and have spied on you earlier tonight because you are the most attractive woman in the club. While I appreciate the compliment, I patted his arm. Shit, bad idea. This guy worked out at least 3 times a day. I have to get my ass out of here. He laughed and stood. Let me call for your ride. I have an Uber, I said, pulling out my phone and using the app to seal the deal and get me out of here before I did make a real fuck up with this guy, other than spilling a drink on him earlier. Then I guess you are leaving me to the wolves. His lips frowned in some irresistibly handsome way. I hadn't been laid in over a year, so one night with a stranger, no strings attached, surely that wouldn't send me straight to hell, right? He leaned in, and his fingers traced on my arms. It's been nice seeing you. I only wish it could have been more than small talk. His lips grazed my ear as he whispered, and I couldn't respond. I was paralyzed by the smell of his cologne, his warm breath caressing my neck, and the devilish grin he gave me before the man left me standing on the balcony, cursing myself for always playing it safe and being too damn proper all of the time. I wanted to chase him down and tell him I was down for whatever he was looking for. We were both strangers from out of town. We would never see each other again. And, well, a few more drinks, and I wouldn't give 2 shits about whatever the man wanted to do. I never was one to be approached by guys. Never. Yet here I was, literally at the top of the city with the most handsome man I'd ever seen in my life. And I just fucking turned him down? I went to follow my dark side and find where he disappeared into the crowds. But then the text from my dad came through. Dad. Hey, kiddo, you never called. I hope everything is well and you had a good visit with your friends today. Don't go too wild. I smiled at my dad's message, pulling me back into a reasonable mindset. Here I was, about to go fuck some guy because he was hot, and because my meetup with friends was an epic fail. I had no idea where the hell the girls or their men were at this point, and I had to go to this stupid wedding tomorrow. This reunion was a complete waste of time, and I almost threw the entire reason I was up here to the wind, all because some hot guy wanted to be more than friends tonight. Ash. Yep, heading back to my room now. I'll text you tomorrow after the wedding. See you on Sunday night. Dad. Love you, kid. Chapter 2. Ash. After a restless night of analyzing the conversation with Mr. Gorgeous, I woke up in a more rational mindset. San Francisco brought out a side of me I never knew existed, a daring side that actually believed I missed out on a one-night stand with some random hot guy. It was never even close to that. I was thinking clearly now, and still slightly annoyed I was headed to a wedding with strangers as a thank you for my dad, who wasn't feeling well enough to make the trip. So many things associated with this trip were going through my mind. Number one, Dad was going back to his doctor when I got home. Being this tired all of the time couldn't be a good sign for the 65-year-old heartbreaker, and sneaking a fast food breakfast with his classic car buddies every chance he got lately could be another issue affecting his health. He wasn't a healthy eater, no matter how hard I tried, and my so-called friends bringing up Mom losing her battle with cancer had me thinking about the fact that I wasn't going to lose my dad, too. The fact that I was here without him was a good enough reason for me to force him to see a doctor for an overdue checkup. The stubborn man owed me, and now I knew how to make him pay up. Number two, I thought it was funny how I met up with friends and ended up leaving early after not being able to find them. And after checking my phone this morning, there was still no word from any of them. Ping. I looked at my phone that displayed Liz's name as if I'd summoned the text. 1,000,000 hours later, I said, putting down my mascara and opening the message. Liz. Hey, I couldn't find you last night. I'm so sorry we ditched you. I was so wasted and woke up in bed with a stranger. Did you see who I was with? Please, God, tell me what the fuck I did last night. I looked at the phone and covered my smile. Maybe I had been out of the real world for too long. Now I go out of town for a random wedding, and it is turning into the Twilight Zone. Ash. Hey. No, I couldn't find you guys after you hit the dance floor. Are you okay? Liz. I need to get tested. Fuck. I was so messed up last night. I ran my fingernail over my bottom teeth. How the hell was I supposed to respond to this? I felt horrible for her, but if I was honest, my brain was all twisted up after meeting the same attractive guy twice in a day, and then him hinting at me to get my ass into the same position as Liz. I wasn't going to dare judge her. Ash. You'll be fine. Get tested, though. Did the other Steve go off with him? Do you think someone put something in your drink? Liz. No, this was all on me. Everyone said that I was so shit-faced that I just grabbed some guy off the dance floor and told everyone I was going to fuck him. I feel like such an idiot. He's in the shower. I think I'm going to get out of here. What the fuck am I supposed to say? They took off on the dance floor, and after my small talk with Mr. Gorgeous, Mr. G, I couldn't find them to say I was leaving. What a fucking weird night. And now this. Ash. Sorry. I couldn't find you guys, so I just took off. I have the wedding to go to today. Keep me updated if you can. Liz. Sorry for ditching out on you. It was nice catching up. I'll get through this. Take it easy, Ashley. Ash. You too. Thanks for the invite out. I hope everything works itself out. Liz. Well, it's not the first time I slept with a random guy. It just sucks waking up hungover and not knowing how it all went down. See ya. I didn't have time for this. I was fake texting a friend about her shitty morning hangover and guilt from screwing a guy she couldn't remember. This wasn't my game. I was trying to put that entire weird day behind me and move into this one. I was determined to show up at this wedding and do my best to show my distant cousins, the Johnsons, the appreciation my dad and I had for their help when my mom was sick. I had no idea of the relationship my parents had with these people. Still, I was going to put my best foot forward and enjoy them celebrating the marriage of a cousin I used to play Barbie with when I was 3. I left my phone in the vanity area on the charger, music still playing, and danced my way over to my closet. I pulled out the short slip dress I got for the wedding. It was more costly than the heels, but after slipping it on, I felt refreshed and beautiful. I ran my hand over my stomach, thankful I wasn't bloated, and the dress hugged my frame perfectly. The burgundy color held a soft shimmer under the light of my hotel room and made my skin look like I'd just laid out and enjoyed the sun's rays. Nice one, Clay. I internally thanked my best guy friend who had fashioned down to a science. He and his boyfriend Joe were the best guys I knew. Joe wouldn't let me head up to San Francisco unless I received his favorable touch.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?